What is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Now, right here is our second iteration of some juicy DPS for our Solar Hunter. This time utilizing the Celestial Nighthawk, which got a nice little 25% buff to its precision hits in that one high damage shot for our Goldie, making this thing one of the best burst DPS in the entire game. Now, on top of that, this season, we do have a couple things that make this better, like having stasis debuffs using the Riptide if you would like with Chill Clip, having those other teammates next to you, as well as that Flint Strike, giving us the Radiant, giving us more damage, so we're going to go over all that to make this thing super juicy. But in my opinion, the best way I thought for overall damage is with how I have this build out is Nagi's Burden as well, because those snipers all over the place just in the game got a nice 15% buff for the PvE realm on damage, so that thing is juicing, plus the super, plus our heavy, so we'll get right into it. So, the Hawkeye hack right here, the exotic perk for Celestial. Precision Final Blows reduce the cooldown of your super, so that right there in itself is a similar thing to shards. Getting those knife kills also gives us it back for shards, so this right here gives us that nice beautiful super very quickly when you're hitting your precision shots. That golden gun obviously fires a single high damage shot. Targets defeated by the shot give us super energy and explode. Very good for those champions, etc. like that we can get some nice orbs created as well as a little super energy back. Now, this build, like I said, a little different because it's going to be even better this season with our artifact that we have on it. So first off, we have Flint Striker and Kindling Trigger, so we can get Radiant with those solar weapons, and they also apply Scorch to targets with both of these, so very good for that solar synergy. Right here is one of the things that adds a nice increase in damage via, well, Radiant. If we have a Stasis Strand debuff, combatants take more damage on them, which is actually super juicy when you're using like the Chill Clip, like I said. Now, we are going to be using Heart of the Flame, so when we aren't solo, a lot of the gameplay was solo, so I could show you really the damage output of this build just alone, but we get even more damage when we cast our solar super nearby those allies, getting more damage for each person next to it. Now, on top of that, this works with both solo as well as with a team. Causing damage with solar abilities weakens champions and bosses for a short period of time, so pairing Revitalizing Blast with torches and the addition of Celestial Nighthawk, with even having teammates and Heart of the Flame, you're adding some crazy 300% damage to just that super. Now, last but not least, we got Raise the Precision, solo operative. Like I said, this can be changed when you're not going in solo, but Raise, while Radiant, those solar precision final blows cause ignitions, which we get super from it because of Celestial Nighthawk, and then the solar synergy of ignitions is super nice. Next on the list, going over our armor mods that we will be using and the stats you want to go with. Resilience as well as Intellect for this build, so we can get back our super even faster. I tried to have as high as recovery as I could have. Now, we are going to be using hands-on so we can get super energy via melee kills, which we have that nice infinite loop of Gambler's Dodge with our Fan Knife. On top of that, we're going with Heavy Ammo Finder and Harmonic Siphon for even more orbs of power on all of those solar defeats. Heavy-handed, so we can pair that with hands-on, getting even more of those orbs of power, with impact induction, fastball, so we can get our grenade back a little bit faster on all of those powered melee attacks. Now, right here, we got the triple resistance, void, solar, and arc. Totally up to you, depending on what you're going into. Now, for that extra added DPS, we're going with the juicy solar weapon surge right here, double, so we can have that nice 17%, as well as double time dilation, so it'll last even longer, allowing us to have that armor charge up for quite some time for each of those, about 20 seconds per armor charge that you have, so it'll last for a very long time. Now, On to weapon choices, like I said, you have the Riptide right here for that chill clip option, adding a debuff going in solo, but even with this, I was doing just as much damage, even a little bit more, with Izanagi's Burden because of that 15% increase on this, having the honed edge at ×4, so you're actually doing some crazy bit of damage, especially when you throw your abilities first to get our artifact mock procced with that revitalizing blast. As for a heavy, I went with the Apex Predator, just reconstruction bait and switch, absolutely juicy for this. You could use Cataclysmic, will pair with that solar synergy as well as it has bait and switch, so very good for that DPS, but I really liked having Apex is a little bit better. Now we're going to be using Demo Incandescent on this BXR Battler, very good for getting those precision shots for the Celestial Nighthawk and that extra little bit of damage for the super, I should say, not damage. Also, with the Demolitionist, we're getting back our grenade very quickly because of that, and we have the infinite loop of dodge melee because of our subclass, which you will see in a second right here. Our aspects, abilities, and fragments. Obviously, we got the Marksman Golden Gun, so we can have that crazy DPS. Now, we're going to use Gambler's Dodge with Knife Trick, so we can have that infinite feedback loop of dodging using our knife, dodging using our knife, all because of Knock 'em Down right here. The bottom part, well, Radiant Final Blows with your equipped Falling Knife, fully refund that melee energy, so when you get a defeat with this, you can continuously throw it around. When you lose it, you use this to get back the knife, and then you will get this back, and your dodge will recharge very quickly. Also, our solar supers are enhanced, so Deadshot has the damage resistance, Golden Gun for the Marksman, which what we are using has increased duration, so you can take a little bit longer to line up that precision shot to make sure that you hit it for that nice juicy DPS. Now for me, I like Gunpowder Gamble. Some other people will use your Marksman dodge right here, so you can get a fast reload, but I really like Gunpowder Gamble, one for the ad clear potential of it, and it also counts as a solar ability when you have it, so you're able to get that revitalizing blast to proc, giving us the ability to do more damage on those champions and bosses this season. Now, onto the fragments. Definitely what I like the best is Ember of Mercy. Picking up fire sprites grant us restoration, or when we revive an ally, we also gain that restoration, so do our allies. Now, Ember of Torches, because of that infinite loop that we have with our dodge, melee, and knock 'em down, we're going to be able to become a radiant like this as well as our artifact, so this will help it out of this season when that artifact is gone. Ember of Empyrean, we're keeping that restoration and radiant up after we pick up those fire sprites or become radiant with whichever fashion that we are when we get those solar weapon final blows, so BXR Battler is coming in handy for sure. With Ember of Searing, defeating scorched targets grants us melee energy as well as creates fire sprites, so it'll play back into Mercy. Plus, if we do happen to lose our dodge and our throwing knife at one time, Ember of Searing will pick that up because of those scorched targets with this is going to be everywhere. One, because of BXR Battler has that incandescent on it, so scorch is being spread super easily. Plus, with our artifact, our solar weapons, when we're radiant, spread scorch to unscorched targets, so it is a beautiful S tier synergy in my opinion. Definitely this season it gets bumped up to S++, but even without that artifact, we're going to be able to do a crazy amount of damage with this build. Just one, because snipers, like I said, got that 15% buff. Honed edge is already nuts. Without that 15, even better right now. We got bait and switch on Apex, so that thing is juicing on the damage, and the nice 25% buff to Celestial Nighthawk, and that precision damage allows us to absolutely put out some crazy damage in the solo test that you saw at the beginning. And right here, we're putting up upwards of 2 million to 2+ million on one single phase of that initial boss in the Warlord's dungeon. I know you can do some crazy one phases, obviously with Strand of Titan, but it takes a lot to set that up, and not everybody's going to be able to do that. So just alone, you can see how good this build can be in that DPS content, as well as making yourself radiant, getting yourself restoration, staying alive with your throwing knives, and just like I said, being the DPS king of your fire team for those little bit of bragging rights. So So definitely try this one out. Takes a little bit more with the precision damage than the Shards of Galanor, which I put out as well, but check them both out. Very fun, very good builds for our Solar Hunter this season, especially for that DPS. So again, appreciate all y'all for stopping by, doing live streams everywhere, trying to spread the love. TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, a little bit of everything. So One-Eyed Jedi on all of those socials. If you like the videos, don't be afraid to subscribe, hit that bell, as well as join the Discord. Everything is in the description, so make sure to check all of that out. And again, I appreciate all y'all for keeping up that support. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.